Continues next, your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
A winter weather advisory early this morning. Chilly periods of snow early, up to an inch possible. Changing over to rain later today, high 42. Rain and drizzle breezy tonight, low 36. Clouds windy and cold. Rain changing to snow tomorrow, high 39. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
32 and snow at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, this wonderful example of how 5,000 Alinskyites can run over 2.5 million people continues. Talking about the Chicago teacher strike, of course. The apparatchiks were on the march against the appeasers again yesterday, including at Sterling Bay, a real estate developer of the Lincoln Yards project, because that's one of the misdirection plays the teachers union uses, is to say, if we just stopped giving TIF dollars to big companies and big real estate development projects, then of course we'd have enough money to fund the schools. The ironic thing is the numbers, just using the numbers the teachers union is using. $38 million they won in TIF funding back from Sterling Bay. That's one of the gambits they were on in practicing their civil disobedience lessons yesterday. $38 million. $38 million in the context of a system. $9 billion. So if you think that we can have a discussion on TIFs, because I'm no fan of the way the city does TIFs, but if you think leftover TIF funds or even the full complement of TIF funds in any way materially addresses the finances of CPS, then you don't understand the numbers we're talking about.
And the teachers don't either. 9 of them arrested yesterday. And here's one. He's from, I think, McPherson Middle School.
Came to Lincoln Yards to talk to the developers that work for Sterling Bay, talk to their CEO, talk to their executives, and ask them why they cannot, if they would be willing to be able to reallocate TIF money towards the contract that we are working towards for all public services and education for Chicago public school teachers, students, and staff.
All right. Who wants to be arrested? Raise your hand. 9 people raised their hands. I got arrested. Now,
that's
the
what
question
they
is...
That's what they learned in the civil disobedience.
In the contract, I think with respect to disciplinary action and grounds for termination, shouldn't misdemeanor convictions be violative of any moral turpitude clause when it comes to educating young people? Wouldn't that be interesting?
CTU has a tentative agreement on class size and staffing, but no deal on teacher prep time, and the mayor won't agree on an elected school board.
What's prolonging this strike is the union's insistence on a shorter school day or school year, and their insistence that I agree to support their political agenda.
What's prolonging the strike is Lori Lightfoot's fundamental misunderstanding of the union. As I said from the beginning, what they're doing is holding up a mirror to Lori Lightfoot and saying, this is who you said you are. These are the positions you took when you ran. We are going to hold you to account for all of them and impose as much pain as we so desire. You know why? Because we can.
Well, last night the House of Delegates met, and I thought that they'd overrule, for some reason, the union leadership who walked out of Mayor Lightfoot's office. And they're letting us know, no, we weren't here to take a vote. We're here to just to talk.
This meeting is just to give updates and to kind of check where everybody is, just a temperature check. There will be no vote happening, so we will not be heading back to school tomorrow.
Are you absolutely sure there isn't a chance that some of the teachers might say, hey, the deal is where it's at and we're being...
No, because the membership has not looked it over, and we're a Democratic union, so we need to give everybody a chance to look it over.
Huh? What? This is the kabuki theater that continues with the dutiful Chicago press corps misinforming the public. Sad all the way around. But this is what we've become accustomed to. This is what we apparently like, at least many of us, enough of us to either indulge it or appease it, that it continues. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by a principal with whom Amy is familiar.
Yes, because Peyton and Eli go to this high school.
She is Ona Pavichevich. She is the principal of Amundsen High School. Ona, thanks so much for being with us. Anna?
But you know what? Wait, you know what, though?
Anna, excuse me.
You know why I'm proud of you, Dan? Because you pronounce Amundsen High School. You used to call it Allman Brothers. And I actually got you to pronounce it correctly for the first time ever.
How about some kudos for Pavichevich? That's not easy.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we pronounced it correctly, right?
Nice Serbian girl from the south side, you guys. This is Chicago. We should know how to say these names.
Anna, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sorry for mispronouncing the easy part of your name. So what is what, if any, have your conversations been with teachers at Amundsen High School about the ongoing strike?
So I have a great relationship with my teachers, and I go out every morning and I greet them, and we spend some time, talking. They want to come back. They want to be back educating their children, which is their mission, their purpose in life, and they're just waiting to see what happens today, and they just want to be back.
Are they
love their kids. We love them. We miss them, and it's a very empty, lonely building without the kids or the teachers.
Kids miss going to school. I have to tell you, even kids that would say, "Oh, I'm so glad we're on strike," are actually begging. Even some were crying yesterday. No, they were. They were saying, we want to come back.
Right.
We want to go back to school. So I
Sure,
don't know.
get away
so
from
we'll
mom.
use that to our advantage, right? All these kids that have been, kind of reluctant students, now we're going to be able to say, see, here's a reason you need to come. And then I think that this is going to be a good opportunity for celebrating everybody's return.
And your school, all the schools are open, right? Are kids coming to Amundsen High School and to...
Yes. We have
breakfast, lunch.
We have open gym every day for volleyball.
Yes.
We've had some open gym for basketball. Some kids are coming to work with their becoming a man counselors, to maintain some of the social emotional supports that they need, and those connections with adults. And some kids are just coming and asking, hey, what can we do to help? We have them stuffing folders, making bulletin boards, and just some of the little duties around the building that we need done.
Well, would you mind if Amy came over to use your locker room? Because yesterday she washed her hair in the sink here, and she's creating an unhealthy work environment here at the station.
Amy is a parent. She's a coach, and she's always got access to Amundsen.
I've got the key, man.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm just checking.
I'm not handling this strike well. I have to tell you, I'm just not. And parents, I think it's getting bad. I know that there was an actual physical altercation at a bar in Lakeview between a parent and a teacher last night. That's how crazy it's getting. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is hard. This is hard for everybody. I have teachers. I did a calculation. 10% of my teachers come from two-income CPS families. That's not a small number. And so, there are
salaries
people who
aren't either.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said the combined salaries aren't small numbers either.
Well,
Well, now
you can invite me on the show a different day to discuss what teachers deserve to get paid. I was a teacher for 20 years, and I know how hard we work. And actually, out of all of the jobs I've had in CPS, being a teacher was the most difficult job that I had, and it was emotional and it's exhausting. And we love the kids, and we put a lot of energy and investment into the kids. And these teachers do it every day, and I see it.
But now, as we proceed forward, for every day not at school, we're going to have to make up that time at the end of the year, or they're going to cut some vacations short. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No idea. That rests in the hands of Mayor Lightfoot.
All right. If let's go back to the students. I almost forget about them in the conversations between the union and the politicians, since this is mainly about the adults, as far as I can tell from the reporting. The students. So, what is the impact on students at Amundsen High School and other similarly situated CPS students at other high schools of this strike at present, in terms of their academic interests?
Right. So, academically, anytime there's a break in service, right, there's sometimes a loss of opportunity, a loss of retention. And so, part of the reasons that CPS decides to do the school year the way they do is to keep continuity of instruction. So whenever there's a break, that's always a challenge. Students are turning in work. Although their teachers don't have access to CPS systems, the students do and the parents do. And so many kids have used this opportunity to work on, missed work or work that they're catching up on, work that interests them, projects that interest them, as well as, college applications, because November 1st is an important deadline for early action. We have many students who have been coming to the school working with us to get their applications finalized, letters of recommendation, and that's all connected to academics.
But today,
I know.
Oh,
yes.
sorry, go on. Well, today you're supposed to
No.
take the PSATs, and that was a way for certain kids to get scholarships.
Well, so we're checking onto that. The College Board, which is that hosts or that owns the PSAT, is talking about other options for kids to be eligible for the NMSQT National Merit Scholarships, right? And so typically the October implementation is when kids take the test in order to qualify. College Board is telling us that there are some other options, not widely known because we've never been in this situation before, but that there is a possibility that the actual April SAT test is something that will allow students to qualify, and that you can even actually apply for these scholarships without having taken the SAT. Again, new to us. I don't want anyone to hold me to that. This is something we're still learning about and exploring. 9th and 10th graders also take the PSAT. And, this was a missed opportunity for us to get data that we as teachers need in order to help prepare them for these high-stakes tests, which you can't really teach. You can't teach the SAT. You can't teach the PSAT, but you can teach kids the high-order thinking skills and the challenging kind of reflective questioning that comes through these assessments. And so I've been talking to my principal friends, and we're all putting our heads together to figure out how we're going to close that gap. It's a missed opportunity. It's not catastrophic. We're smart, and we're going to figure out other ways to get that data. It's just not going to be from this assessment, which is the easiest and most thorough way to get that data.
As somebody who's also been a teacher, now you're a principal, what arguments that you've heard from the teachers union do you find credible, and which arguments do you find less than credible when it comes to things like there's an overcrowding problem, we need more prep time, as apparently is still being litigated, and the other contentions that they've made about the system?
So I'm going to answer that at a very high level for you because I really just wanted to talk about academic impact, but I am going to tell you that I'm completely in support of having conversations about understanding class size. I think that not only is it difficult for teachers to give students the attention they need when they have overcrowded classrooms. I think that there's some practical aspects that we need to consider, like fire codes, materials, students be able to move around the room freely in order to do projects, without having to trip and fall over each other, and to create learning environments for kids that are really, really conducive to learning and to exploration and discovery.
Is there
and
overcrowding
so that's one that is
Amundsen? Is it in the classroom?
So we try not to have overcrowding. Yes. So we I try to organize our budget in a way that we don't have overcrowding, and we're very mindful. And actually, because we have such a good relationship with the union at Amundsen, we constantly are having discussions where we're looking at areas where we may not be in compliance. I was a member of the union for 11 years. I was a teacher for 20 years. And to me, I have no interest in violating this contract, which I do believe is designed, particularly with things like classroom, for the best in the best interests of kids. And teaching, making teaching effective.
Are you frustrated? Since you've been in the system this long, you're frustrated that in 2019 we seem to be having a very similar conversation to what happened in 2012, the last strike?
So, education's evolving, and our city is evolving, and our student population is evolving. And so I think it's important to always have these conversations. And I don't know, I think that the CTU is fully within their rights to participate in collective bargaining and to implement whatever job actions they think benefit their membership, and I know, and I can only speak for my staff, whom I know very well. I'm entering my 8th year. I know that many, many people are really committed to, not many, all of my teachers are incredibly committed to educating our children and optimizing their educational opportunities, which is why people like Amy send Peyton and Eli, to Amundsen High
Peyton
School.
and Eli, nice.
Yes, and so I think we should always be having these conversations, and that this dialogue should always continue. Should it be in this format? I'm agnostic. I'm in the middle.
Yeah, I know.
But the conversations need to happen.
All right, she is Anna Pavichevich.
You did so well on the way in, and now look at you on Pavichevich.
Listen,
I said
as long as
Pavichevich.
you didn't call me Anna, my mom added that extra N.
I know.
And and as a Serbian girl, we
I know
don't
you're
have
sensitive
phonetics,
to that.
nothing.
Yeah.
Anna Pavichevich.
Anna Pavichevich.
And actually, I just got married, so it's really Chadapich now, but I haven't gotten that far.
Now you threw in more syllables.
I did. Chadapich. Yep. Chadapich.
I'm sticking with Pavichevich. I've already mastered that. I'm just going to stick there. She's the principal at Amundsen High School. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to get